a very warm welcome to you. I am so pleased you have chosen to spend a little time here in this quiet sanctuary we have prepared. This story was made with the simple hope of helping you find a moment of gentle contentment and perhaps to help you drift peacefully into a restful sleep. If this tale brings you comfort, a simple like is always appreciated, and you might consider subscribing or leaving a kind comment to share your peaceful thoughts. Tonight, we will be visiting the Resonant Vale. It is a place where the air itself hums a soft lullaby and where wondrous flowers glow with a warm, golden light. Step into this world of profound stillness and allow its gentle magic to soothe your mind, preparing you for a night of the sweetest, most restorative dreams. Chapter 1, The First Hum. One should always be grateful for a path that knows its own way, and the one that led Silas into the Resonant Vale seemed to possess just such a quiet wisdom. It was less a deliberate track and more a gentle suggestion in the landscape, a place where the deep green ground cover had been persuaded to part by the passage of other peaceful travelers. With each step, the soft earth yielded like thick cushioning, and the air, which had carried the common sense of the wider world, grew still and sweet with a fragrance he could not yet name. It was a place that felt as though it had been waiting for him, patiently and for a very long time. He found the cottage nestled in a shallow curve of a hill, looking as if it had grown there naturally, like a smooth, pale mushroom after a soft rain. Its walls were made of a pale wood that seemed to have no knots or imperfections, and a thin curl of smoke, the color of lavender, rose from its chimney, disappearing into the deepening twilight sky. The door was unlatched, opening with a soft sigh onto a single simple room. Everything within was a study in gentle comfort. A sturdy bed with a thick cream-colored quilt, a small wooden table with a single chair, and a hearth where embers glowed with a warm, welcoming heart. As he set down his light pack, Silas became aware of a particular quality to the silence here. It was a deep and enveloping stillness, yet it was filled with something else, a presence that was almost a sound. It was a hum, a low and constant resonance that seemed to be part of the very fabric of the veil. He could feel it through the soles of his boots, a faint and pleasant vibration rising from the smooth wooden floorboards. It was the lowest note of a song played on an instrument far too large to imagine, a thrum that spoke of safety and of things that had been in their proper place for ages upon ages. Stepping back outside, he saw that the sky was now a soft blanket of violet and rose, the colors blending into one another with no sharp edges. The hum was clearer out here, a gentle pressure in the air, a feeling as much as a sound. It seemed to collect in the shallow bowl of the valley, a pool of tranquil energy. He breathed it in, a long, slow breath, and felt a tension he hadn't known he was carrying in his shoulders begin to dissolve, melting away like sugar in warm water. This was the language of the veil, he thought, and it was a language of pure peace. He walked a few paces from the cottage, his hand trailing over the surface of the hillside, feeling the deep, velvety texture of the ground cover. The vibration was stronger here, a clear and steady pulse in the earth itself. It was as if he were standing on the body of some great sleeping creature, its slow and steady heartbeat a lullaby for all who resided there. There was a magic here of a kind he had only read about in the most gentle of storybooks, a magic that did not announce itself with flashes of light, but with a profound and unwavering sense of calm. Back inside, the room was filled with a soft, warm light from the glowing embers in the hearth. The scent of dried lavender and clean linen from the quilt was a simple and profound comfort. Silas poured a cup of water from a ceramic pitcher on the table. It was cool and tasted of clean earth and minerals. He sat in the simple wooden chair, holding the cup in both hands, feeling its comforting weight. The world he had come from, with its hurry and its many noises, felt like a distant memory, a story that belonged to someone else. He did not need to light a candle, for the glow from the hearth was quite enough, casting soft, dancing shadows that were friendly and soothing. The hum of the vale was a constant companion, a presence that wrapped around the little cottage and held it safely in its resonant embrace. He felt his eyelids grow heavy, the pleasant weight of a day's gentle travel settling upon him. The quiet here was so complete, so perfect, that it felt like a soft blanket being drawn up to his chin. Lying down on the bed, he found the quilt was as soft and inviting as it looked, its texture smooth and warm against his skin. The hum of the vale seemed to cradle him, rocking him gently in its ancient, peaceful rhythm. He felt the last of his worries unspool and drift away into the quiet air of the cottage, here, in this place of deep resonance and gentle welcome. It was easy to believe that everything was and always would be perfectly well. It was as if his own soul, here in that deep and steady hum, was finally coming home to rest. Chapter 2. The Gentle Resonance. The next morning, the vale was bathed in a soft, pearlescent light that filtered through a thin layer of mist, making everything seem new and wondrous. After a simple breakfast of bread and honey that he found waiting for him on the small table, Silas felt a gentle curiosity guide him out of the cottage and back onto the yielding path. The constant low hum of the valley felt like a welcoming presence, a guide that promised only quiet and pleasant discoveries along the way. The path meandered without hurry, following the gentle contours of the land. It led him to a small workshop tucked beside a grove of trees whose leaves were the color of dark jade. Like his own cottage, it seemed to have grown from the earth, its smooth wooden walls blending perfectly with the surrounding landscape. The air around it was fragrant, with the rich, clean scent of cut wood and something else, a warm, resinous aroma like beeswax and sunshine. Inside, a woman with kind eyes and hair the color of spun silver was sitting on a low stool, her hands moving in a slow, circular motion over a piece of dark wood cradled in her lap. She looked up as he approached, and her smile was as warm and gentle as the morning light. "Welcome," she said, her voice soft and melodic, like the murmur of a hidden spring. "I am Anya. Please come and sit for a while." She gestured to a smooth, sun-warmed bench beside her. "I was just polishing. It is a quiet sort of work." On the bench beside her lay several other pieces of wood, all polished to a deep, lustrous sheen that seemed to hold the light within it. The wood was a beautiful dark color, with a grain that swirled in intricate, calming patterns. Anya went inside her workshop and returned a moment later with 2 steaming mugs, which she handed to Silas. "Herbal tea," she explained, "made with flowers from the upper slopes. They hold the morning sun." The steam rising from the mug was fragrant with notes of chamomile and a hint of mint, a scent that was immediately comforting. They sat together in a companionable silence, a silence made comfortable by the ever-present hum of the vale. Silas noticed that Anya's movements were unhurried and graceful, each one filled with a quiet sense of purpose. He watched as she took up her polishing cloth and returned to the piece of wood in her lap. "This is listening wood," she said, seeming to answer the question in his thoughts. "It grows only on the northern ridge. It remembers things." She held the piece out to him. It was wonderfully smooth and surprisingly warm, and as he took it, he felt the hum of the valley become clearer, more focused. The vibration traveled from the wood into his hand, a tangible current of peace that seemed to spread up his arm and settle in his chest. The feeling was deeply pleasant, a gentle internal massage that loosened a tightness he had not even been aware of. He looked at the wood, marveling at how this simple natural object could act as a conduit for the valley's serene energy. He could feel the resonance not just in his hand, but within his own body, as if the wood were tuning him to the frequency of the vale. He ran his thumb over its polished surface, a texture as smooth and yielding as river-worn slate. Anya simply smiled, a knowing and gentle expression on her face. "The wood helps us to hear the valley's true voice," she murmured. "It quiets the mind so the heart can listen." They drank their tea, the warm ceramic of the mugs a comfort in their hands. The sun had begun to burn away the morning mist, and shafts of golden light now slanted through the trees, illuminating dust motes that danced in the still air like tiny silent sprites. Silas handed the piece of listening wood back to Anya, and the sensation of the amplified hum slowly faded back to its gentle ambient level. He felt a sense of profound gratitude for this simple shared moment of peace. There were no grand pronouncements here, no complex teachings. There was only the wood, the tea, and the quiet companionship of a gentle soul. It was more than enough. He knew with a certainty that settled deep within him that he was beginning to understand the true nature of this remarkable place. Chapter 3. The Source of Stillness. In the days that followed, Silas found himself drawn ever deeper into the heart of the vale, the low, resonant hum acting as a constant and gentle guide. It was a call that his own spirit seemed to recognize, a pull towards a place of even greater peace. He followed the winding paths, his feet making no sound on the soft ground cover, his senses alive to the subtle wonders around him. The air grew warmer here, and the sweet, honeyed fragrance he had first noticed upon his arrival became richer, more distinct, perfuming the air with a scent of pure contentment. The path opened suddenly into a wide, circular glade, and what he saw there made him stop, his breath catching in a moment of quiet awe. The glade was filled with hundreds of flowers, flowers unlike any he had ever seen or imagined. They were large and bell-shaped, with petals that seemed to be made not of plant matter, but of spun translucent gold. From these wondrous blossoms, which he instinctively knew were the chime lilies, came the hum of the valley, a collective and harmonious drone that filled the glade with a palpable sense of life and serenity. Each lily pulsed with a soft internal light, a warm golden glow that waxed and waned in a slow, steady rhythm. The effect was mesmerizing, as if the entire glade were breathing, inhaling, and exhaling light in a silent, coordinated symphony. The air itself seemed to shimmer with this gentle energy, and the light cast by the flowers created soft, dancing patterns on the deep green ground. It was a place of soft magic, a sanctuary within a sanctuary, and Silas felt as if he had stumbled upon a sacred and sleeping secret of the world. He found a place to sit on a bank of soft, cushiony vegetation at the edge of the glade, a spot warmed by the collective light of the lilies. The hum was much stronger here, a deep and resonant vibration that he could feel in his bones, a sound that bypassed his ears and spoke directly to his heart. It was a sound of absolute peace, a perfect and unchanging note of tranquility. He closed his eyes, leaning back against the support of earth, and simply listened with his entire being. The delicate honey-like scent of the blossoms was a gentle balm, soothing away any remaining vestiges of worldly concern. There was no sense of time here in the glade. The slow pulse of the lilies was the only clock, and it measured its moments in peaceful breaths, not in passing seconds. Silas felt his own breathing unconsciously begin to align with that gentle rhythm, each inhalation drawing in the warm, fragrant air, each exhalation releasing another layer of unnoticed tension. He felt a deep sense of connection to this place, a feeling of belonging that was simple and profound. It was as if every part of him, from his physical body to his innermost thoughts, was being gently tuned to the harmonious frequency of the glade. The constant thrum was like a lullaby sung by the earth itself, a song of deep and abiding safety. He felt utterly at peace, held securely in the warm, glowing heart of the vale. Opening his eyes, he watched the gentle dance of light among the flowers. The world outside this glade, with all its complexities, seemed very far away and of little importance. Here, everything was simple. There was the light, the scent, and the sound. There was the feeling of the warm earth beneath him and the soft air on his skin. It was a complete and perfect sensory tapestry of calm, woven with threads of the purest, most gentle magic. He stayed for a long while, simply being present in the moment. The chime lilies pulsed with their steady golden light, humming their ancient peaceful song. Silas felt no need to do anything, to think anything, or to be anyone other than who he was in that very instant. He was a quiet observer, a grateful guest, in a place of profound and luminous stillness. And for now, that was a wonderful thing to be. Chapter 4, The First Chime. Silas returned to the glade of Chime Lilies each day, drawn by its promise of perfect stillness. He would find his familiar spot on the soft bank, settle himself comfortably, and allow the gentle wonders of the place to work their quiet magic. He learned to simply sit and observe, without expectation or effort. He watched the way the golden light from the lily petals painted the surrounding leaves, and he felt the deep, resonant hum become as familiar and comforting as his own heartbeat. His mind, which had always been a quiet place, became even more serene. The usual gentle stream of thoughts, observations, and plans for his maps slowed to a near-perfect standstill, like a river widening into a calm, clear lake. There was nothing to plan here, nothing to figure out. There was only the experience of being present. His senses became his sole focus. The warmth of the pulsing light on his closed eyelids, the sweet honey scent of the blossoms, the feeling of the deep hum vibrating in his chest. One afternoon, as the light of the sun began to fade and the glow of the lilies grew correspondingly brighter, he fell into a state of deeper calm than he had ever known. His breathing was slow and even, perfectly synchronized with the gentle rhythmic pulse of the light and sound that surrounded him. He was not asleep, but in a state of profound and wakeful peace, feeling utterly weightless and secure. The boundary between himself and the glade seemed to dissolve, and he felt as if he were part of the gentle breathing life of the valley. It was in this moment of absolute quietude, when all the noise of his own inner world had ceased, that he felt something new. It began as a faint and delicate vibration deep within his own chest. It was a resonance that was entirely separate from the hum of the lilies, a frequency that was uniquely his own. It grew slowly, not in volume, but in clarity, until it bloomed into a single pure and perfect note. It was a chime, a bell of profound and silent sound that was felt in every part of his being. This, he understood with a deep and intuitive certainty, was a Vesper bell. It was not a sound made of metal or struck by a hammer, but a resonance born of pure inner peace. It was the chime of his own soul, finding its perfect, harmonious equilibrium with the tranquility of the world around him. The feeling was indescribably beautiful, a sensation of being perfectly whole and profoundly at home within himself. The chime lingered, a warm and shimmering note of pure contentment that filled him from the inside out. He sat in the deepening twilight, tears of quiet gratitude welling in his eyes. This was the gift of the veil. It did not bestow power or grant wishes. It simply offered a space, quiet enough for one to hear the music that had been playing inside them all along. The external hum of the lilies had been an invitation, a tuning fork that had helped him find his own inner note. The Vesper bell was not something given, but something awakened. The chime slowly faded, not into silence, but back into a feeling of warm and peaceful potential, a quiet hum that now resided within him. He knew he could find it again. He knew that the bell was a part of him now, a source of stillness he could turn to whenever he needed. He placed a hand over his heart, feeling the gentle, steady beat of it, and in the quiet space between each beat, he could still feel the faint, beautiful echo of that first perfect chime. The glade was now illuminated almost entirely by the golden light of the lilies, a secret, magical world under the first stars of the evening sky. Silas felt a gentle peace that was deeper and more lasting than any he had ever experienced. It was the peace of self-discovery, the calm that comes from finding a quiet, immovable center within one's own heart. He had heard the first bell, and he knew his life would never be quite the same again. Chapter 5. The Carry Home Calm. The morning of Silas's departure arrived with the same gentle grace as all the other mornings in the Vale. The air was cool and clean, and the pearlescent mist clung to the low-lying areas, softening the edges of the world. He packed his small bag with slow, deliberate movements, his heart filled with a quiet and profound sense of gratitude. The Vale had given him a gift of immeasurable value, a treasure that took up no space and had no weight, yet was the most precious thing he had ever possessed. As he moved about the small cottage, he was aware of the change within himself. The constant external hum of the chime lilies was still there, a comforting and familiar presence. Now, however, it was accompanied by a new internal resonance. The quiet echo of the Vesper bell was a constant companion, a gentle hum of peace that resided deep within his own chest. It was a portable sanctuary of stillness, a piece of the Vale's magic that he could carry with him wherever he went. He walked the soft path one last time, making his way to Anya's workshop to bid her a quiet farewell. He found her tending to a small garden of herbs behind her home, her hands moving gently among the fragrant leaves. She looked up and smiled, her eyes seeming to understand everything he felt without him needing to speak a single word. There was no need for long goodbyes in a place like this. "The path will remember you," she said softly, her voice a warm and gentle melody. She reached out and touched a small polished piece of listening wood that hung on a simple cord around her neck, pressing it for a moment to her heart. It was a gesture of shared understanding, a blessing for his journey. Silas mirrored the gesture, placing a hand over his own heart, feeling the steady, calm rhythm within. It was all the communication they needed. He turned and began the walk towards the edge of the valley, the path that would lead him back into the wider world. He did not feel a sense of sadness at leaving, but one of peaceful continuation. The Vale was not a place to be possessed or held onto, but a place to be experienced, a place that awakened something within its visitors. He was not leaving the peace behind. He was carrying it with him, integrated into the very fiber of his being. As he reached the crest of the hill that marked the valley's edge, he paused and looked back one last time. He saw the gentle, sloping hills, the curl of smoke from the cottage chimneys, and in the distance, the faint, warm glow that marked the glade of the Chime Lilies. The resonant hum of the valley was fainter here, a soft murmur on the edge of hearing. He took a deep, slow breath, filling his lungs with the sweet, clean air. Then, with a gentle smile, he turned his back on the vale and took his first step into the world beyond. The sounds of that world, the rustle of leaves in a different kind of wind, the distant call of a bird, were no longer distant or separate. They were simply part of a larger symphony. The internal chime of the Vesper bell remained a quiet and unwavering note of peace within him, a foundation of calm upon which all other experiences could rest. He walked on, his steps light and his heart full. The journey ahead was unknown, but he carried with him the deep and abiding knowledge that home was not a place on a map. It was a feeling, a resonance, a quiet chime within the soul. The Vesper bells were ringing softly within him, and he was finally, completely at peace.